You know what? We're going to do something that has never been done in the history of this program. Is that okay with you, Producer Corey, here on our Friday? Well, can we bend the rules a little bit? Okay. So I'm going to do something that has never been done. The first segment of the show is always called the Daily Special, right? It's our top story. I'm doing it.
Time for our top story of the day.
Two.
It's the Daily Special.
Yeah, that's right. They're not getting away with this. They're also the top story. And that's the Phoenix Suns. Are you kidding me with that basketball game last night? You knew it, too. You knew it. You looked at the score, and you knew exactly how the show was going to go today. You knew exactly the tone and tenor that this show was going to take today after I spent the first segment of the show yesterday saying, hey, maybe we beat Indiana. Maybe we beat Detroit. This is your chance. You're playing a lesser opponent. How about we beat these teams at home to set up a nice stretch? And again, this team can barely go 3 games without somebody having an injury. They barely can go 5 games without us right back into the pit. It doesn't take very long. And I said on the show yesterday, do not ruin my Football Friday. Don't do it. And that's exactly what they've done. They have ruined my Football Friday. Why? Because not only did they lose to the Indiana Pacers last night, and that in and of itself is a conversation of how that occurs. Devin Booker's hurt. He has a groin injury. So now we've completed the big 3 bingo. Kevin Durant's been hurt and missed time. Bradley Beal has been hurt and missed time. Nice to see him back in the lineup last night. And now it is Devin Booker's turn with a groin injury, and you know they're going to take precautions with that. And so I don't know when we're going to see Devin Booker again. And so now we can officially say in 2024, we have completed the bingo card. Normally in bingo, it's 5. It's only 3 for the Phoenix Suns because it's the big 3, and I am bingo. We hit injury bingo last night. And so I'm done. This is why we made the declaration that we made on Monday. This is why. There is nothing to trust about this team. And I don't want to get on these guys for getting hurt. It happens. It's sports. But at some point, you put all this together and you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I am not getting fooled again. I'm not doing it. This team has not one singular time this season shown us a reason to think they are any different from the team that they were a year ago. Let's go back down memory lane. I wish I had some music for us to go down memory lane with. Last year, we put this big 3 together here in Phoenix. One of the best players in the game, Kevin Durant. One of the best young stars in the game in Devin Booker. And a great third option who would probably be a number 2 and in some markets would be a number 1 in Bradley Beal. We're going to put these 3 guys together, and we are going to try to win a championship. That's what we're going to do. And all throughout the year, it was all just give these guys time to gel. Just wait till you see when they're all on the court together. And just over and over and over again, we didn't see it. We didn't get to see all three of these guys on the floor together. It didn't happen. And they were finally able to kind of hit some rhythm at the end of the season. But by the time they got to the postseason, they just didn't have enough time to gel. Okay, we're going to reset. We're going to double down. We're going to add the pieces, and we're going to give this another shot. And we are, 27 games into this season? And here we are again. The same problems, the same nonsense. A team that can't stay healthy. A team that everybody wants to convince me, just wait till I see the best version of them. And I have seen the best version of them less than 15 times this season, less than half of the season. What am I supposed to do with that? Why am I supposed to think for a brief second that anything's changed about this team? Why am I, for any moment, supposed to think that, oh, no, don't worry, Chris. It's the next time is going to be the time. Don't worry. When Devin Booker comes back from this injury, it's going to be okay. That's when they're going to be healthy. Why? Because when Kevin Durant came back from an injury, it was Bradley Beal's turn. Bradley Beal comes back, now it's Devin Booker's turn. So when Book comes back, what's to say that it's not going to be one of the other 2 guys again? At some point, if you continue to believe in this team, and when I say believe in this team, I mean believe in the championship aspirations. Are they going to be able to probably sneak in to the Western Conference playoffs as a play-in team? Or maybe they'll be a team that's able to sneak into one of the last seeds that doesn't have to play in that play-in tournament? It's possible. They have enough raw talent that if at least 2 of the 3 guys are on the floor, you would expect them to win enough basketball games. But that's not success for this team. Success for this team is playing in the Western Conference Finals, playing for a championship. So you know what we did on Monday? We said, not anymore. Taking it off the table. I don't care that you beat Utah. I don't care that you beat Portland. We are officially taking it off the table. And as this week has progressed, we're now here on a Friday, a couple days removed from that declaration, and it has aged beautifully. Doing great. The first declaration that we've made here on the show, looking like a good declaration of this team's going to be a first-round exit. Because if you put in the tape, I don't think you can tell the difference between this team and last year's team. I know they have a different coach, and I know they have a bunch of different role players, but we are talking about the same thing. Right? You can play back shows. You can play back podcasts from this market of reaction after games last season. It's the same thing. And so this is my call to all of you today. Stop buying in. Stop believing in this. At some point, you have to admit that it is a failure. And I'm more mad at another stretch of games that we're going to have to go through, picking and choosing when Devin Booker is going to come back, and less mad about losing to Indiana, but that's bad too. You can't lose to that team at home. I know Booker left the game in the third quarter and didn't play the remainder of the game. Kevin Durant was still out there. Bradley Beal was still out there. This team is good enough and talented enough where two of the big three are on the floor. They should win basketball games, especially against teams that are below 500. Defensively, this team isn't very good right now, and it feels like the woe is me approach. It feels like they have come to a place where they just expect bad things to happen to them. They expect to show up, and either they're just going to win the basketball game or they expect it to be an absolute disaster, and they expect the bad things to happen. And can you blame them with all of the bad things that have happened so far just this season? And so I'm done. Maybe you're still not done. Maybe your New Year's resolution is going to be to give this team a chance. Not for me. That is not going to be the New Year's resolution that I give to the Phoenix Suns. It is one of my favorite things to do in sports radio. We will do it when we are back. We are off next week. We will be back for, I think that's 2 shows before New Year's. So one of my favorite things to do, and so you can bookmark it now, on one of those days, the Monday or Tuesday, we will give out New Year's resolutions for all of the teams here in town. We'll do one for the Suns. We'll do one for the Diamondbacks. We'll do one for the Cardinals. We'll do one for ASU and U of A. We will do New Year's resolutions for all of the teams. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Promise you right now, my New Year's resolution for the Phoenix Suns is not all of a sudden going to, give them a chance. I've given them a chance. I've given them a chance now for over 100 games. All of last season and now 20-some-odd games of this season. They have been given enough of a sample size. They were also given a playoff series as well. So we're closing in on almost 140 games that we have seen of this group. That's a large enough sample size to start talking about getting off the ride. I got off the ride on Monday. I stopped trying to debate what this was going to look like. And last night, they came out in the third quarter, and it just all fell apart. It just all crumbled. And so if it's going to crumble against Indiana, how do you expect me to believe it's not going to crumble in a playoff series against Memphis or against Minnesota or against Oklahoma City or against Houston? What is there for me to hang my hat on to say, no, everybody, this is why it's different? Is it this dream? Is it this idea of the big three being able to do enough? Because part of this, too, is they might be able to stumble and bumble their way into a playoff spot, but if they draw a bad first-round matchup, even with the big three, they're going to be challenged in the playoffs. They're going to be challenged if they draw Oklahoma City. They're going to be challenged if they draw Memphis, Dallas, Golden State. They're going to be challenged in the Western Conference playoffs against any of these teams that they play because they're still, I'd have to run the math. But I wonder if we are getting up to a point where by the time we get to the end of this season, which would then be 2 full seasons of this big three, if they will have be able to have played a full season together, a full 82 games. I don't know if that math's even possible at this point. I'd have to run the math. This is a disaster. And I asked yesterday to not have to have this conversation today. I feel like I'm scolding a child right now. Yesterday, I said I didn't want to do this. I don't want to have this conversation about this team again. And I was just talking about them losing. And now we are spending our day, once again, talking about another injury with the Phoenix Suns. This time, it's the last member of the Big Three who had, up until this point, not gotten hurt. Just a disaster in downtown Phoenix right now. Disaster. Made the decision to run it back, and it is aging terribly in real time. We talked about this being a season of redemption. We used the wrong word. It's a season of repeat. Because this is the same stuff that we were doing last year. The same circumstances, the same injuries forcing them to be without the Big Three. It's the same thing.